How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Drew Estate Cigar Studios for episode 144 of How About That Cigar Live. How about them apples? Do you like apples?
I do like apples.
I like apples.
She gave me her number.
Did she?
She did. How do you like them apples?
Good night, everybody.
Oh, wow. Good will hunting.
We're a little punchy. We had very fun but very exhausting few days, which we're going to talk about on the show tonight. So let's dive in. Let's get to our special sponsor. Of course, we are in the Drew Estate Cigar Studios, and we are so grateful to them. And let's remind you guys about the beautiful new Drew Estate Acid 20 Connecticut Toro. A smooth, mellow, sweet, and aromatic Acid 20 Connecticut Toro features a stately Connecticut shade wrapper, a flavorful Indonesian binder, and a bold Nicaraguan filler, resulting in an extraordinary and exceptional smoking experience. Acid 20 Connecticut is a 6x54 Toro, all chromed out in 20-count boxes with an MSRP of $10.75 per cigar. They will be available to all premium cigar retailers beginning at the Tobacco Plus Expo in Las Vegas, and they will ship immediately. For more info, please visit drewestate.com. So yeah, welcome to episode 144. Thank you so much for being live with us on Facebook, live with us on YouTube. For those of you listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thank you so much for making How About That Cigar part of your regular podcast rotation. I was supposed to say that earlier, but I'm just a little mixed up because we're tired.
It's all good.
We're still coming back from being a little groggy, a little exhausted from the Tobacco Plus Expo, which we had a blast at, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight.
Yes.
But before we talk about that, let's our teams are out, of the NFL playoffs, but so my estimation is that this round, this entire stretch of playoffs, now we're going to the Super Bowl. Hopefully it's a really quality game to watch for football fans. But my estimation is that this was maybe, somebody's saying bad audio. Give me a sec. Let's take a peek. Let's make sure, because sometimes this system likes to make changes on us midway through the broadcast. Yep, there we go.
Okay, sorry about that. We should be good now. Please let us know if the audio is better. This system is faulty sometimes, and it's my fault for not checking for the 14th time before we went live. So please let us know if the audio is fixed. So yeah.
Yeah, man.
Audio's good now.
Audio's good. All better.
Thank you. Thank you, Grant. So in my estimation, this was the best stretch of playoff games that I can ever remember.
It has been an absolute joy to watch these teams battle out. I mean, how some of these games have ended. I mean, gosh, Tom Brady is so good. And if anybody could have brought that team back, clearly he
came close to doing it again.
He really did.
But I mean, everything from the, some of the wild card round games were great. Divisional round, I was a little sad about one particular game that we won't get into. But even with everything, they've all been close games.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they've been fun to watch, and there've been some overtime wins, some last minute field goals, and very competitive football. And I'm really hoping that the Super Bowl is the same way. I honestly believe it will be.
I think so too. I think this is going to be a great Super Bowl. I am really, really looking forward to it.
So,
go Rams.
I don't know. Go Rams. Wait, no, go Bengals for me.
Is it?
Yeah, for me. I mean, we've talked about this a little bit. Where I was born and lived for the first 12 years of my life was down in southeast Indiana, near that area and we went to Reds games and one Bengals game when I was a kid. I don't remember the outcome of the game, but I know the Bengals game that I went to at Riverfront Stadium, the Bengals played the Detroit Lions. I have no idea what the outcome was. It was probably, I'm going to guess it was sometime around 1980. The Bengals were good then. They made it to the Super Bowl in 81 and 88, losing to the Niners both times. So, and also sports related, the Minnesota Wild are finally starting to kind of get their groove back. So,
and I want the Rams mostly for Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, he's got a great story. He's a great quarterback.
He is a great quarterback, and I think Detroit clearly didn't give him the team that he needed.
Yeah,
to get it done. And I know a few Detroit fans were like, Stafford sucks and blah blah blah. Well, does he?
Well, and what a great testament to the Rams organization for, making what a lot of people consider to be an extremely risky move, giving up so many draft picks and things like that for Matthew Stafford.
But look
what they got out of it. They knew that they had an opportunity to get a championship level quarterback.
They had the defense.
Exactly. And then they added on pieces like, look at, and I'm one of them. So look at all the flack people were giving Odell Beckham Jr. I was one of those people.
I was too.
And I'll still give him flack when he acts like an asshole.
Yep.
I still will. And he's had his moments where he's, acts like a little diva, but the boy can ball. He can play.
Yep.
And he's really talented. And you give him a quarterback like Matthew Stafford, and he's really contributing to that offense. So I think it's going to be a competitive game. I think Joe Burrow should have easily been a competitor or a candidate for MVP. This only continues to prove what he's done in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So.
And either way, I'll be happy for people in my life to see Miguel, Shodell, who's a huge Bengals fan.
Yeah.
That would be cool. But I'm rooting for the Rams, but I won't be upset either way.
Yeah. I just want it to be a competitive game and fun to watch as a football fan. And I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the halftime show. So
I saw a really funny meme that had
with
all the chains and
yes,
all the dudes.
I showed that to my kids earlier,
you?
and I said, guys, you don't realize how totally true this meme is. But when that halftime show's on, I'm gonna be up going like,
yes,
yeah. I might as well have on the velvet tracksuit and start playing "Pretty Fly for a White Guy."
That's right.
So
it's gonna be lit.
But let's jump into our main segment of the evening. And tonight we're going to be recapping the Tobacco Plus Expo show that we just got back from that was in Las Vegas. So before we get to our main segment, let's hear from our fantastic sponsor at Corona Cigar Company. Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, the internet's largest and easiest to use virtual cigar store. Corona Cigar Company offers you the finest handmade cigars, humidors, and cigar accessories at the absolute lowest possible price. You'll also find unique and limited cigars containing Florida sun-grown tobacco. As a proud American, president and founder of Corona Cigar Company, Jeff Borshowitz, believed it was possible to bring cigar tobacco farming back to Florida. At Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, you'll find the best selection anywhere in the world of cigars containing this special Florida sun-grown tobacco. If you live in Florida or are just visiting, be sure to visit any of the great Corona Cigar locations in downtown Orlando, Sand Lake, Lake Mary, and also the Davidoff of Geneva Lounge in Tampa. For more info on all of that, please visit coronacigar.com and floridasungrown.com. So let's dive right into our TPE recap show. Mm-hmm. And we're going to bring on camera right now our great producer, Justin Lawler. Justin, welcome to How About That Cigar Live.
How's it going, guys?
You're not used to being on camera.
That's first.
There's absolutely no need whatsoever to be nervous. Of your life and how you feel about God, and no I'm totally messing with you.
Let me go on for a second.
So for those of you who watch How About That Cigar, you know that back in about October, Justin was a great addition to the team. He took over production duties for the live show, which has really improved kind of the flow and things like that. And this was Justin's first opportunity to go to a cigar trade show. So kind of the first thing we want to talk about, as we're recapping the trade show, just so you guys know kind of what we're talking about. The TPE, there are a couple different cigar trade shows, at least major ones through the year. So there's the PCA, or the Premium Cigar Association trade show, that happens in July, which is put on by the PCA, which is the trade organization for premium cigar and pipe retailers. And it is considered the largest trade show that focuses directly on premium cigars and pipes and pipe tobacco and the retailers who sell those items. The Tobacco Plus Expo is a all-encompassing tobacco show. You'll see everything on the trade show floor, from cigarettes to rolling tobacco to
Weed,
synthetic weed, Delta 8,
that weed game, vape,
CBD, hookah, glass pipes. Garrett got some CBD cream for his ailing back.
Oh my gosh.
Did it help?
It helped.
That's good.
I wasn't expecting it to. I was just figuring, Justin would rub me down and it'd be a good time for him. But thankfully, there was a happy ending, and it was my back feeling better.
My mom's listening.
Dang it.
Move that mic closer, Justin.
Sorry, Trish.
So that's what the Tobacco Plus Expo is, and we were there Wednesday through Saturday. The trade show itself was just Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but we flew back on Saturday and covered the whole thing, and got really, because of having an extra guy on the team and having Justin's help, we did more trade show coverage than we ever had before at a single trade show. We more than doubled our coverage from the previous TPE trade show. So at the last TPE show, we did 17 videos. And the one we just came back from, we did 39. So
we're sexy.
It's just a huge addition to the team having Justin there. So one of the things that we want to start out with you, Justin, is obviously, whenever we go to an event like this, there's expectations. It's like, I think this is what I'm going to see, and I think this is what I'm going to hear, and I think this is what it's going to be like. And then you get there, and sometimes they don't always match up. So what would you say were your like expectations versus reality at this show?
Expectations, it was, I didn't know what to expect, actually. We came in straight off the plane, straight to the show pretty much, and just went straight to business, started doing interviews right away. Seemed to go pretty smoothly for the most part. But yeah, it was a great experience just to dive in, full force right off the bat and get my feet wet per se. And I had a really good time out there, just learning how the show works live, and then meeting all the people we met, and just the, brotherhood and camaraderie of the cigar industry in general in the community. It just really thrives there, and it kind of inspires you to see, what do we do next,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually a great way to put it. And we do this time around. Yeah, we really did kind of hit the ground running, because we flew in that morning. Fortunately, everything travel wise was great. We didn't have anything to worry about. We got to got our flight, got to Vegas, got checked in, got everything squared away, and got on the trade show floor, and just boom, we were rolling. There was really no sort of time to mentally transition yourself into it.
Yeah, 100%. TPE does a really good job of including the media in their show. Not only do they help with hotel rooms and that piece, but they also carve out a piece of real estate for the media, little media lounge where there's snacks and water. So from a media perspective, they really do take care of us. They give us early access, and you know, they kind of lay out the red carpet for us, which is really pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, I agree. That's something that we have found in the two times now that we've covered the TPE. Just having, and actually the media lounge this time was 5 or 6 times the size it was last year. Last year it was, you know, it was great to have, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But this year it was fantastic. There was tons of space. There were tables. There was dedicated network just for media. There was comfy chairs. There was business chairs, coffee, snacks.
Yep.
Big water bubbler.
Bubbler.
Sorry. Bubbler. And it was, you know, as great as last year's was, it was even better this year having that much space. And there were even people set up in there doing full-fledged interviews with lights and computers and soundboards and the whole bit.
Yep.
And it was great having enough space to do that, because we could be on the other side of the media lounge and they could be over there doing their interview, and there wasn't any interruption in their service or anything like that.
Yep.
That was very cool.
We conducted an interview in the same room with a different person at the same time, and there was no interference. So it was really a really good space. Take notes, other associations.
Yeah, and we'll definitely talk about that a little bit. So one of the things that that Justin, you touched on a little bit, and I think this is a very important point about these trade shows, and really any cigar event, whether it's a trade show like this or whether it's a big multi-vendor event like the Great Smoke, which we're going to in just a few weeks, 3 weeks from now, or one of the big smokes, which are put on by Cigar Aficionado magazine, or the Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival, the Brew City Cigar Fest, and things like that. Justin hit on the camaraderie piece, and that's a really important part of this kind of culture, this cigar hobby, you know, is the being together with other smokers. And as somebody who kind of is an introvert by nature that I am, I get strange looks sometimes from family members who've known me their entire lives and my entire life, knowing that I'm an introvert, being like, why do you want to go to a place that's filled with people? And I say, because cigars bring out the extrovert in me, and they do. Where are you at with that, Justin, as far as like, you know, how you deal typically with other people and, you know, just in the world? Do cigars tend to bring out a side of you that otherwise people don't get to see?
Yeah, I think it does. You know, I used to be out in the clubs a lot and promoting, and I used to be the I guess extrovert personality, but you know, COVID, all that stuff happened. I kind of been staying at home, and then found cigars in the last year and a half, 2 years that I really dove like full head, you know, into it and didn't look back. And yeah, it was a good experience to be able to talk to all these people and just meet all the people you look up to in the industry, all the people who are actually blending the cigars, you know, making all the products that we enjoy on a daily basis. It was really a great experience just overall, all around, just to see that. And you know, like I said, what do we do next? That's like, let's go, where are we going? You know? So, yeah.
Did you have any, because I still have them.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any kind of starstruck moments?
Oh yeah, like every single time.
Oh,
I
right.
held it
Okay.
back, but I'm just like, I'm sitting there with the camera, like, this is great, you know. And it was fun just to run around with you guys and talk to everybody the whole time.
Yeah.
A little bit tiring overall. We were just nonstop on our feet all
Yeah.
day, and then, you know, going to bed at 2:00 in the morning, get up at 6 or 7. But we made it happen.
It is exhausting
Yeah.
because you're literally walking. I mean, we've done the thing with the Apple Watch or the pedometer or whatever, and it's many miles a day.
Yeah.
I know we talked about this the first time you went to a trade show, but there are people that I've met a half dozen or a dozen times or more that I still, for those first couple minutes, I'm still like, oh, I'm talking to this person. I so respect this person, and I'm, you know, I still get a little bit, you know, giddy when I'm talking to certain people. Can you think of anybody like that?
Yeah, the person that sticks out to me the most is going to be Nestor.
Yeah.
Nestor Plasencia he's one of those, and here's the cool part about, it would be two for me. It would be Nestor and Nick Perdomo. And they're very different in their personalities. Nick is more of that, kind of suit and tie, classy guy, where Nestor is just humble and the sweetest person you'll ever meet, and would not consider himself to be a rock star of the industry by any means.
He considers himself a farmer first.
He does.
Yeah.
And so that humility, I love that. I love that about him. And it every time I meet him and talk to him, I'm impressed with him and his character and his product every time.
Yeah. It's the same person for me, really.
Yeah.
And there are a couple others, but him, yeah. And, at other trade shows, like, just people you have deep respect for, like Carlito Fuente and George Padron and, well, even not at a trade show, but at a factory tour, getting to meet, Pepin Garcia was,
I have yet,
mind-boggling. So let's talk about the booth visits. And I'll bring up our, just for us here, I'll bring up our kind of list here of places that we visited. So, and I'm gonna rattle these off really quick because I don't think it's gonna take super long. So, Oscar Valladares, Robert Caldwell, Cigars for Warriors, Sinistro Cigars, Illusione, Terrazona, Battleground Cigars, El Artista, Dapper Cigars, Casa Cuevas, Aladino, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, Drew Estate, Drunk Chicken Cigars, Carolina Blue, Fratello, Crux, Perdomo, United, Dissident, Blackbird, Epic, Cavalier, Amendola, Crown Heads, Espinosa, CLE, Ace Prime, Placencia, Aganor Salif, Jake Wyatt, Black Starline, Adventura, Christoph, Alec Bradley, Altadis USA, Ferry Otego. I need a nap just after going through all those names. I mean, we were so blessed and fortunate to be able to meet with all these people. So I want each of us to kind of answer, like, and it's not even necessarily about the cool product that they had, just that they had a good vibe or that they were welcoming and engaging. What was like a favorite booth visit for you that stands out in your head?
For me, I'm going to say it would have to be Luciano. We met the guy, totally down-to-earth guy, very well articulated on what he says. And then just the experience, he started pulling out different tobacco leaves. I think some of them was from Afghanistan.
Pakistan. Yeah.
He started rolling tobacco right in front of us. He's like, here, try this. And he cuts them off and then you pass it to the next person. And it was just like a cigar rolled right in front of you of a blend that he's like, maybe testing out or something. I was like, what do you think of it? What do you get out of it? And that was a cool experience to just have that hands-on, smelling the different leaves. It was all right there in front of you. And that's something new for me that I never got to experience before. It was really, really cool.
Yeah. What about you, Garrett?
I felt like, for me, I'm going to talk about some of the new ones that we haven't had a chance to talk about. And that would be, oh man, it's a toss-up between Sinistro and Drunk Chicken. I felt like the vibe with Sinistro, I mean, that dude, we became best friends.
Yeah, he's a very cool guy.
Super cool guy. Personalities are pretty similar, and then Drunk Chicken, just the story of that brand, and Renee, was it?
Desiree.
Thank you.
Desiree Silver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her story, and being a chicken farmer and all of the.
I know, it's crazy.
Because
we even talked about it back after PCA, that we had thought about going to see that booth, and to be honest, we were a little kind of like
Drunk Chicken.
It seems like a gimmick, or it's like it's just a joke, like they're in it just for a joke. she is not joking around. She is not playing
100%
at
not.
all.
Didn't get into cigars to make a buck.
Yeah.
Had no intention on becoming a cigar brand, and it was truly a labor of love and a cigar that they were making for themselves. And
Yeah.
anyone who knows anything about anything in art or food or whatever, if an artist and a chef is creating for themselves, they typically make some of the best work.
Yeah.
And my hat's off to them. She gave me a cigar that punched me in the face, and it was good.
Yeah, she was really great to talk to, and I'm so glad that. And actually, all credit to them, because
Yes.
they're the ones who we happened to be walking through. They were in sort of the Sutliff area where there's a number of different brands in one large booth put together. We happened to be walking through that area. I think we had just finished an interview with someone else. And they stopped us and said, "Hey, how are you guys doing today? What's your story? What are you here at the trade show for?" They wanted to know if we were retailers. We said, "Oh no, we're media. We do a podcast." And they were just our best friends immediately. And it wasn't just this fake sales thing. They genuinely wanted to know about who we are and what we do. And then when Garrett started asking them their story, to see her face light up, to see everybody who was a part of that booth, to see their face light up, to get to tell the story, it was really kind of refreshing.
It really was. Yeah, no, it was a great time. Clearly just a great group of people that they've assembled for their team. And so watch out for Drunk Chicken.
Yeah. One for me that was kind of along the same lines, because of just his openness and his friendliness, and a booth that we finally made it to after all these trade shows that we've been promising ourselves we weren't going to miss them again. And that was Gerard at Jake Wyatt Cigar Company. At TPE last year and PCA last year, we're like, we got to make it over Jake Wyatt, because we loved the pictures we'd seen online of their cigars. So much artistry that goes into the designs and stuff. And then we finally got to meet Gerard, and I had kind of had a few conversations with him just on Facebook, typing back and forth. But what a just fun, down to earth, friendly individual he is. And we just had a great conversation. Got to learn more about his cigars and even try some. And it's not just the designs and the prettiness factor. They're tasty, good tobacco cigars. So be on the lookout for that, because, again, what a cool conversation. Just
it really was.
Genuinely nice guy.
Yep.
And I mean, some of the other fun things, you got to check out the interview with Michael Herklotz from Ferio Tego. It's hard we can never beat what Dojo has done with him. But we tried to do something a little bit outside the box with him. You've got to check that out. You have so let's just do a quick little rundown and like the reason you need to see the video about each of these. So for Ferio Tego, first of all, it's awesome that they actually have product.
Yes.
And there's some funny little stuff that happens in that interview. For Altadis USA, the humidor. That humidor, I want to say War of the Roses, but that's not right. It's something.
Yeah, it's along that line.
Yeah, but you have to see this humidor.
Bed of Roses?
Bed of Roses. Thank you. That is it. With Bradley Rubin from Alec Bradley Cigars. He's another one of those people. He's engaging. He's fun. He's soft-spoken, but when he's in a conversation with you, he's just right there. He's in the conversation with you and excited to talk to you. And it's a really good back and forth with him.
Absolutely. And he's not that, I'm the kid of Alan type of thing. Yeah. He is just a great dude.
Yeah.
Both him and Alec are fantastic people.
Yeah. And of course would have been awesome to see, his brother and their dad, but obviously they've got a lot of stuff going on, so they can't all be there. And then Jared from Christoph Cigars, one of our great friends in the industry. And great conversation. their focus is really core brands. I mean, they are definitely working on stuff, but as we've heard from him a couple times, they just want to make sure that the consistency of product is there for the stuff that their customers have come to know and love. At Ventura Cigars, Nicole, Marcel, and Henderson, so awesome that we finally got to meet them in person. Energetic, passionate people who really care. And they have really been hitting on all cylinders. I mean, there's so many people out there that their brands have tons and tons of buzz on social media, and the way that Henderson blends tobacco really just, I don't know, I don't want to use the term speaks to me, but it does.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Great team at Aventura, and between, Nicole and Marcel, what they do with the marketing piece, and then Henderson, who is, they call the heart of the company.
Yeah,
it's true.
And I'm realizing now that only like 4 or 5 videos into this, if we even do 30 seconds on each of these, this show tonight's going to be 2 hours. So maybe we should. Yeah.
Well, where can they find these videos?
So that's actually a great point.
Really?
All these, I know, right? Marketing. All of these videos, even though they did go live while we're at the trade show, all of them are still up on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/HBT Cigar. Excuse me. And they are also available on our YouTube channel, which I am going to put the link in the comments right now, so you guys can go and check those out on our Facebook page. And yeah, like I said, there's 39 videos up there, and lots of great companies, lots of great stuff to learn about.
And then one final thing before we get into our next little toast cam action.
Oh yeah,
is the amount of releases at TPE was surprising. We talked a little bit about that on Coop's show when we were doing an update for Coop. There was a lot of companies, a lot of manufacturers that were actually releasing a cigar during TPE. And typically most, the trend over the past several years has been the release at PCA, or around the PCA time.
Yeah, that's right.
So late summer, fall is when most of these companies. So it was really cool to see some of these companies offering a new release during the TPE. And I'm excited for this new trend.
I think so too. And like Coop said, he really put it well that it would be beneficial. Selfishly, it would be really beneficial for media to have more releases spread out on the first 2 quarters of the year.
Yep.
But I think for even for consumers, to get things, instead of get everything from July through, or really not even July, you're talking August, September through the end of the year.
Yeah.
If you get things spread out a little more evenly, it helps people spend more wisely, and it gives people more of an opportunity to, get their hands on stuff. They don't have to sock away their whole cigar budget. If all they want is the new stuff, they don't have to sock away their budget for, the second half of the year.
An interesting thing about that too is had a chance to have dinner with the Aventura team, and Marcel was talking about the difference between releases in Europe versus the US.
Oh, interesting.
In Europe, they are constantly releasing new cigars. So he said that on average, there's a new release just about every month from somebody.
Oh,
of cigars.
I like
so
that.
There's a constant. There's a plus side where the consumers are always getting the new. But then what happens is the staples, or cigars that should be the staples, get kind of lost in the shuffle. So these retailers will hear the buzz of this new thing. They'll buy a bunch, and then something else new will come out, and all of a sudden that product is now not sought after anymore.
Okay.
So they're always chasing the new.
Well, that makes sense. And I wonder, it does make sense if you go back to, PCA, and previously it was called IPCPR, and before that RTDA. They got so much press and so much buzz about
Mhm.
those products, specifically because that was really the big ticket item. And now a lot of these companies are realizing that they can still get good buzz and good press from a smaller show like Tobacco Plus Expo and spend far less exhibiting product, because the exhibitors, many of them told us that it cost them way less money to attend and show product at the TPE versus the PCA.
Yep.
They still want to support the PCA as an organization, but from a pure return on investment,
Correct.
they get more bang for their buck from TPE. So something to think about.
Yep.
Should we move into?
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me what
Yeah.
I forgot about, which is our newest sponsor, and that is Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. So let's fire up the toast cam.
Mhm. When lighting your cigar, it's important to be patient, pay close attention to detail, and focus on the tobacco. In the same way, Steve Saka brings those same qualities to the ultra premium cigars of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Patience, close attention, and focus on the tobacco are the qualities that Saka and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust have become known for. From Sober Mesa to Umbagog, Dunbarton Tobacco has a blend that will fit your palate, your mood, and any occasion. Visit dunbartoncigars.com to learn more.
Oh yeah. People, so and I've talked about this before. People who know me know that if I ever ask to borrow your lighter, it's okay for you to say no, because I use so much stinking butane when I light a cigar because I toast it forever.
And that cool gal at the what booth was that? We kept going back to
That was Ignitus. She
booth.
was so fantastic to us.
She was great. Kept going back to just fill our lighters.
Yeah, I felt bad at first. I was like, could we borrow some butane? It's like, how am I going to borrow butane? and she wasn't. I mean, she didn't even skip a beat. She said, "Yeah, come on over." And she had 400 cans of butane there.
Right.
And yeah, she was great and let us fill our lighters every day. So, big thank you to her. I've got her card here. I'll shout her name out here in a sec.
Yeah, she was fantastic. Yeah, everybody was fantastic. It was a really fun show. Cigars for Warriors was probably the interview I was most proud of. Getting, even if we just got one person, one viewer to go and send, either send cigars or, make a financial contribution, it was worth it. And so who do we got here?
So from Ignitus, which is they make some really cool looking lighters, big massive, some of them big massive, like handheld torches, like what you'd use for creme brulee.
Had like a foot long flame on one, almost stick your
Yeah,
eyebrow.
one of them, seriously, it had the torch. Because you look at these lighters that we use for our cigars. This one's got a triple torch, but each torch is only, maybe a couple millimeters wide. This one torch that she had to have been 7 or 8 millimeters wide.
Absolutely.
And it was only a single torch. But yeah, Justin's not lying. The flame was 10 inches, 12 inches long on that thing.
You could have welded the Titanic shut.
So that was that was Helen Seha, I believe is how you pronounce that last name. And she was just great with a smile every time. She's like, yeah, here's some butane. Fill up your lighters, guys.
Oh no, I'm gonna steal the lighter.
Yeah, sorry, it's a little warm
You
because
got
I had it lit for 20 or 30
Holy
minutes.
jeez.
Sorry.
Use a different lighter.
So let's talk about because there definitely were, there, like we've talked about, there definitely were some new products that were featured by some companies that are using TPE now to also introduce some cool new stuff. One of the ones that stood out to me was Terrence at Aganorsa Leaf told us about the new Cerberus. which is very cool. It's the three-headed dog that guards the gates of Hades. The design on the Cerberus is absolutely killer. You got to check it out. And obviously, I mean, it's an Aganorsa blend, so I actually just fired up an Aganorsa blend in the Rare Leaf Reserve in the 60 ring gauge. And yeah, that Cerberus project I thought looked pretty cool.
Absolutely. And Terrence is just, he's killing it. I think the bringing Terrence into Aganorsa Leaf is clearly a match made in heaven. They're doing some really, really cool stuff with not only their blends, but the amount of amazing products that they're putting out for others. Is, just a lot of great things coming out of Aganorsa.
Yeah. Is there anything that somebody announced as a new cigar that you can remember, Justin, that you thought you're looking forward to?
Going back to Luciano, the Dreamer, the new sizes.
The new sizes,
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, we got to try one of those when we were out there. Delicious.
I still haven't smoked the one I got from Luciano, but yeah, that it's because that Lancero was so good, and I thought, oh please, let's get like a Robusto and a Torpedo and that's basically exactly what they did. I was disappointed there was no 5 5/8 by 46, but I'll get over it. I'll get over it.
Another one was the Amendola.
Oh, the Special from Amendola.
Very, very similar tasting blend for the most part, but it was a little bit different, but in a good way.
My favorite cigar of the entire show was that Amendola.
Yeah.
I think it was for me too, as far as what we smoked while we were there.
Correct. Yeah.
That blend was just, and we told Jeff that too after, because we got to hang out with him a little bit at the bar and just relax. And actually, it was the next morning, wasn't it?
It was that night.
It was that.
Oh,
night.
was that Friday night? Yeah, we were up very
Friday
late.
night, and
yeah,
sitting with him, and he had a box, and he was like, dude, I can't stop smoking them.
Yeah,
and that says something. If imagine you're a chef and you're cooking food all day, and you cook yourself that same meal every day.
Yeah,
that's what it's like for these guys, and so that really says a lot.
Yeah. The one for me, and there were quite a few products that really stood out to me. Definitely what we've already talked about, I'm excited for, but also for two reasons. One, because I'm a fan of the original release and the blend itself, and I'm a fan of the sort of format and the project, is the Big Poppy Firecracker. So the collaboration between El Artista and now are making a firecracker for United Cigar. Super exciting because the original Big Poppy blends I've enjoyed since it first hit. Let's see what okay. That was totally unintentional. So yeah, it's when that blend came on the market, I enjoyed it right away. I definitely tried it because I'm a fan of Big Poppy. And then I was happy that I liked it because you never know with a celebrity cigar, but it's a very good blend. And seeing that come out in the firecracker format, I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
The timing of that release too.
The timing, yeah. Although Coop was right, there may have been maybe a little behind the scenes.
If you were to bet whether he was going to be a first rounder,
totally,
or not,
yeah. I'm not mad at it though. All day long. That's
great
cigar.
Marketing. It's smart. It's absolutely. What about the Espinosa knuckle sandwich?
That, yes, I am excited for that because even Eric and Jack said, "Look, this is not just another celebrity cigar."
He told him no.
And he actually, Guy Fieri actually, according to what they said, he actually was in this process and he actually put in the work, and they went through a lot of different iterations before they landed on these two.
Yeah, and looks like Eric will be not necessarily following the crew around for diners, drive-ins, and dives, but will hit many of those cities and do events while they're filming on location at certain places. So Guy is completely invested in the project, and I'm excited
Yeah.
to try it.
And another person, it's not necessarily a blend in particular, but a person that I really have enjoyed getting to know. And you guys know that we love like tobacco nerds, the guys that really get into the different varietals of tobacco and the growing regions and that kind of stuff, because we sort of nerd out about that stuff. And the guy from Carolina Blue that works with Chris Caesar, he has, from everything I can hear from him, as far as I know, as far as I can tell from him, he's legit, that he's actually got a mind for this kind of stuff. And he also nerds out about it.
He does,
where he gets into the different plots and the different regions and the different varietals, and maybe change this up a little bit to get a better yield or get a better flavor or what. I love listening to him talk about tobacco.
I do too. And he is a very soft spoken and very fast speaking individual. So you have got to be like on your Adderall when listening to him. But he is a wealth of knowledge, and I am excited to, I can't wait for Carolina Blue to really hit that stride where they really start to get some street cred, and
I agree,
and launch them, because they're great people and they're great cigars doing really cool things. Yeah.
And another brand that we finally met with for the first time was Blackbird Cigars. A brand that's been getting a lot of buzz on social media the last couple of years, and we finally met with them, and that was a very cool conversation. And then one other person that really, just because I have a man crush on him, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, and I want to look like him someday, and that's Dean Parsons from Epic Cigars.
Dude,
I mean, the dude is just built like a tank. You can tell that he takes care of himself and works out a lot, because straight up, like if I could, if I look like that guy, I'd probably never wear a shirt.
100%.
That's all I'm saying.
Yep. 100%.
And he makes good cigars.
And he makes a 6x60 that I'll smoke.
Yeah. And I've found I've kind of been, not that I'm like, I'm not getting on board the 6x60 train, but I wave when it goes by now.
Right.
And right now I'm smoking this Aganorsa leaf, rare leaf reserve in the 6x60. And I love his Maduro, Dean Parsons, Epic Maduro in the 6x60.
So good.
And there was another one that I had last week. We'll talk about it later in the show. It's my notable smokable this week.
Okay, cool.
We'll talk about that later in the show. So
Drew Estate, that was
you got to talk about how that started out. Our friend Pedro from Drew Estate, who is an absolute rock star in the industry. Everybody knows Pedro. Everybody loves Pedro.
Yes.
And so you gotta.
So I don't know if. I think maybe so here's a note that we should take is we need to be more, we need to convey to people better that this is going to be a live video.
That is going to be live before we start recording.
Because we go, Justin gives us the whole, 3, 2, right?
Yeah.
Go. And we're going, Matt, opens up, and Pedro, bless his heart, has like 2 swings and misses on his first attempt at getting going in this. And he's like, okay, let's start over. And then finally we're like, no, it's live. Okay, let's go. And just after that, he was perfect. It was like watching a train go. Like the man was just on a mission. And Matt actually, usually we have to tee up some questions. We have to, poke and prod and, a little bit, depending on, every interviewee is a little different.
Yeah.
With Pedro, it was Pedro go.
Yeah.
And he went.
He did. Yeah. After those first couple, when he stopped and he's like, and he stopped and he looked at me. I'll never forget, as long as I live, the look he gave me when he turned to me and he had his hands like this and he turned at me and he went, "It's live?"
And I heard there might be a meme like my man DeLorean or something
Yes.
that might be circling around in their group. But
My man.
That was
Dan from
Cigar
Oasis.
Oasis. Yeah.
we watched him live making a meme of Pedro Fett.
Yes.
So, not sure if anybody will ever see that, but it was fun to watch.
It
that
might
process.
make its way out into the wild someday. We'll see.
You know, and Pedro's another one of those guys that I kept seeing. Here's the cool thing about the industry is you see other manufacturers or other, sales directors or whoever in other people's booths. We had, Caldwell, I think, was at other people's booths more than he was at his own.
True story.
Which isn't saying much for his booth, but
And he fully admits that.
100%. Even said he was going to be returning those 2 tables too, which is hilarious.
Classic.
Yeah, it is totally classic. But you get to see that it truly is a brother and a sisterhood, that there is this camaraderie and this sharing of knowledge and love of this industry that we love so much. So, when you do go to the show, you see a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's relationships, and it's awesome.
You don't really see that in a lot of other industries out there. Like right in front of you, just here it is, and that's the cool part of it is having that time to talk with all these people is really a humbling experience to see all that.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
But what I want to talk about now is the Wednesday night party.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that because I didn't have it on the show notes, so I'm glad you brought that up.
This band, you guys.
Oh,
so there was members from Lifehouse and
Savage Garden.
Savage Garden.
Mm-hmm. And then I don't know, that drummer?
Was there one other band, or was it?
There was another one.
So essentially, it was a 4-piece band, and each of those 4 gentlemen had all previously been in some relatively big name bands. I mean, Savage Garden and Lifehouse are 2 big name bands. So, and they yeah.
I mean, if you do a little bit of sleuthing, you can see Matthew Tobacco and myself screaming at the top of our lungs. At one point, I went and sat down on the couch because I was like, I need to save my voice for tomorrow morning, to do interviews the next day. And then the band had to go and play 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
How do you sit down for 9 Inch Nails?
Yeah.
And then they follow that up for their final song, Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
And I've never seen you guys mosh pit before, but you guys
we were
moshing.
Yeah.
Last ones.
We were screaming to Beastie Boys, and it was, you guys, the band was just so good.
Yeah.
If you enjoy live music at all, you were down in front stage and front and center, and it was the band was so cool about interacting with the audience too.
They were
on the stage.
He took your phone.
Yeah, at one point the lead singer grabs my phone out of my hand and starts spinning around getting shots of the crowd and everything. They were super engaging. They were rock and roll players.
Yes.
And they were extremely engaging and fun to watch. And they played everything from, like he said already, from Rage Against the Machine to 9 Inch Nails to Backstreet Boys to Journey, Guns N' Roses. I mean, basically, if it was a big hit from the 80s and 90s, they played it.
Yep.
And they played it really, really well. And while they were getting the crowd, because, sometimes if you've ever been to one of these cigar industry events, the crowd can be kind of dead. And at the beginning, when those guys first started playing, it took them a while to get the crowd into it. But the cool part is they didn't give up. No. A lot of times a band will be up there, and after a couple songs, if the crowd's not into it, the band is like, well, screw you, we're just going to stand up here and play.
Yeah.
But they didn't give up on the crowd. And then once the crowd got, enough juice
they got juice
in them, then the crowd started migrating right up against the stage, and it was a party for the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
It was fantastic. One of the Oscar Valadares's guys was, and I didn't know who he was at the party, met him the next day, walking by. I was like, dude, last night that was so dope and it was so fun. and we were moshing together, singing together too. Matthew Tobacco, Justin was down there, Matt was down there,
Andrew.
my guy Andrew,
yeah.
And it was just such a good time. So again, for industry parties, I've only been to a few at this point, but that is going to be a hard one to beat.
Yeah.
The food was excellent.
Oh, and the food.
Food was fantastic.
Open bar, top shelf.
Open
everything.
bar, top shelf, great food. They had buffet stations with finger foods. They had buffet stations with meat and potatoes, carving stations. They had people walking around with hors d'oeuvres and desserts.
Wrapped scallops.
Bacon wrapped
Oh
scallops.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I ended up following one of those guys around.
And those little lamb lollipops.
The lollipop lambs.
Good Lord. Oh,
They were giving away so many cigars that night.
And they had a lot of cigars given away by Drew Estate, who was the big sponsor of that evening party. But I'm having my mind changed about that, because you guys know that, and we don't have to get super deep into it, but I am believing now that it is beneficial to the organization, whether it's TPE or PCA. It's beneficial to the organization to put some resources into those camaraderie events.
Absolutely.
Those like community building events.
Yes.
And I'm fully, full disclosure, I have had my mind changed about that, because I think it is worth the investment.
And it also gave other people that were there for the show that weren't there for the cigars in the other industry, people were actually trying cigars that would probably have never even tried a cigar before.
Right.
But we're trying them at like
because a lot of the vape, a lot of the
vape.
vape people or hookah people who'd never really smoked cigars, there were plenty of free ones there for them to try. And I agree that a lot of them did try those. And I think that's a good thing for the cigar companies as a whole. So let's talk really quickly about, did you see any booth or multiple booths on the show floor that maybe weren't busy, that you were surprised at the fact that they weren't busy, or did everybody seem busy to you?
None that really surprised me necessarily, but the one that I keep wanting to really, I think, do well, but clearly doesn't look like they're getting much traffic, is La Galera. That one for me is the one that was most credible, that seemed to not have as much traffic every time we walked by. There was really no any, and I talked about this on Coop Show too. There was a few of those booths where you didn't know who the brand was, and they were just kind of sitting by themselves, not engaging with people, not doing anything, and clearly they didn't have any traffic in their booth.
Yeah.
But La Galera would be the one for me that I think I want to see people interested in there. But if they're not showing passion for what they're doing, that's what they're going to get.
Yeah. Anything for you?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was behind the camera following you guys around a lot, so there was a little bit of time where I didn't really pay attention to who was coming in and out. It was busy for us. So,
yeah. Well, the one for me, it isn't that they weren't busy, because they weren't slammed every day, but I saw, a few people in the booth, and it was a relatively large booth, but I just wanted more out of it. And it was on the manifest, or on the list of all the vendors and on the floor plan, it was marked as General Cigar Company.
Yeah.
But it wasn't General Cigar Company. It was just La Gloria Cubana. That was the only brand represented as far as signage goes. I'm certain if you wanted to order something else, at least maybe you could have ordered something else. But I just don't understand that mindset where General has so many different facings, from Macanudo to Cohiba to Diesel and La Gloria and Partagas, and that was it. As far as signage and displays go, it was just La Gloria, and it was just a couple round tables with a few of the stretched out muslin, standing displays with the La Gloria logo on it, and that was it.
Yeah.
I expected more.
And again, no real energy. You know?
Not really. I mean, again, it was steady with people throughout the day, but not slammed and buzzing like some other companies were. And so a player in the industry as big as General Cigar, I guess I just expected more. So yeah, Q, I agree. There was only one brand ambassador there, but at a show that is becoming as big as TPE is becoming, I don't know why General doesn't bring the whole line.
Well, and it looked like they were just dipping their toe in the water. And
well, they did last year too,
but they didn't show up.
Well, they did, but it was the same deal with just one. It wasn't La Gloria though. It was a different. I don't remember even which one it was, but yeah, it was weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just wanted more. I think General is such a big company with so many iconic cigar brands. I would hope that they would want to be a part of that. I don't know.
And the one that I was glad to see traffic at was Dapper.
Yes. Yeah.
Because Dapper was one of the brands that both Coop and I listed as a brand that needed to kind of get some things under them, some fire lit, or they could potentially be on the chopping block. And, Dapper is a brand that I love, I respect, and they had a really good crowd every time we walked by.
Yeah. And I like that brand. It's a brand of cigars I've enjoyed, and I'm glad we finally got to talk to Ian.
Yep.
And have him on camera, and what a great guy. Just fun to talk to, engaging, all the stuff you want from an interview. Are there any companies that you wish had attended the trade show but didn't?
Room 101. Matt Booth was there, but they didn't have a booth.
But they didn't have they didn't exhibit.
Booth didn't have a booth.
Booth didn't have a booth.
That was one that I'd like to, maybe get to meet, in person, talk to a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What about you?
I mean, I'd always love to see Skip.
Yeah.
I know that he's, Roma Craft isn't necessarily expanding their retail partners right now. They're not really doing that. So I get why Roma Craft isn't there.
Well, and he's in Dominican at Ernesto's factory working on their project right now.
Yep.
So
I
think
understand
timing wise, it just didn't work out.
No doubt.
They may have considered. I wouldn't doubt if they sat down and had to talk about whether or not they were going to go. But we got to see Mike from Cigar Hustler. Great to see those guys as always.
Absolutely.
The number one, there were a number of brands I would have loved to have seen. The most notable for me is LFD. I'm not sure if LFD has made a decision yet whether they're going to exhibit at the PCA show in July. They did not last year. And
Lito wrote a fantastic letter.
He did. Great letter. But seeing Lito and Tony and John Carney, it would be great to see them again. Again, they're one of those companies that I know they are really just focusing on production and making sure that their core blends that their customers love are available. And they've been struggling, just like some other companies, making sure that they can get products to their customers. So we know they're focused on that, and I don't fault them for that a bit. I just would love to see them again.
How about from a media perspective?
Oh, that's a very good question. I thought it was really good, actually.
I did too.
I don't think there were, from what I could see and hear, and interactions with other media people. We even met some people we hadn't met before in media. I didn't see any, I don't know, for lack of a better term, bad actors. I don't even like using that term, but just it from what I could tell, everybody who was there media wise was there for the right reason.
There wasn't any of the, I don't think there was any like the fake influencers or whatever. There's that one couple that we see at every show that nobody knows who they are or what they do, but
but they're, they've been doing it a while, and as long as they're behaving, I don't really fault them for showing up. But yeah, media wise, I think everybody was very well behaved, and of course we love our fellow cigar media people, and Justin got to meet pretty much everybody. You know,
I had a good time meeting Matt and Nicole. We were the last night we were there, got to hang out with them and get to know them, and hopefully we'll do some things for the Great Smoke.
Yeah. You know, getting to see the dojo guys is always a blast. Yeah, really, you know, getting to party with Matt and Nicole, and then seeing Zane and
Kevin
from Blind Man's, and then Craig back in the game.
Yeah, Cigar Craig back at a trade show. So that was very cool to see Craig back again. I hadn't seen him since 2016, I think was that 2016 PCA or IPCPR was my first ever trade show. And I think that was the last time I had seen Craig since last week. So it was very good to see him again, being active again.
Developing pellets.
Yeah, developing, seeing Aaron and John McTavish. I mean, Aaron, we've seen, you know, he's been at the last couple shows, but seeing John, well, I think it was your first
time meeting John.
So I hadn't seen John since, I want to say 2018 or 2017, somewhere in that neighborhood. So yeah, great to see the cigar surgeon again.
We did not smack the commish.
No, we did not. We did not smack the commish. I didn't see anybody else. I saw Patrick from Half Wheel. I didn't see anybody else. I don't know if anybody else.
Charlie was around.
Oh, Charlie was around. Oh, I never saw Charlie.
I saw Charlie once.
I saw Patrick.
Yep.
And trying to think of other media. Cigar Show Tim. And Tim from Cigars Daily.
I didn't see him.
And Boston Jimmy.
Saw Boston Jimmy.
And I'm sorry, I know we're forgetting some other people that we saw, but it's always great to see, you know, the other media people there. We're very fortunate to be a part of a cigar media community that we help each other.
Yep.
We, you know, give each other ideas and pointers, introductions. That's been one of the just incredible things for us, is other cigar media people have taken us around and helped introduce us to other companies. You know, dojo guys have done it, and Half Wheel guys have done it, and
then people like Gabe.
Yeah. From he's the name of the company, the branding and marketing company. I feel like a jerk. I can't remember the name of the company, but yes. Yeah, he's been incredibly helpful. He is the guy. He knows everybody.
Guy, right?
Yeah.
He knows everybody. And knowing the person who knows everybody is almost better than knowing everybody.
It is.
And it is. Yeah, you're totally right, Diane. It's all about networking. And that's why we love these events so much. The coverage is great. We love doing the interviews and bringing that to people so that they can see about the products and all that stuff. But it's also about the community aspect and the networking, is getting to know more people in the industry, letting people know, because we're under no illusion that there are still plenty of people who have cigar brands that haven't yet learned about how about that cigar. Mm-hmm. We're fine with that. And our goal is to get our name out there as much as we can. And while at the same time building our own skills as media coverage people and all that. So that's what we're in the goal of doing. Or that's what we're working to do. So good times.
Fun times.
Final thoughts on TPE 2022?
It's a blast. I'd do it again.
You'd do it again?
I would.
Yeah, I just want to say a big thanks to you guys for giving me the opportunity to go out there. And like you said, it was a really good experience, humbling. I'm at loss for words when I was out there. I almost had some tears in my eyes when you brought me on the camera at the last second there. But yeah, it was tears of joy, man. It was a good time. So,
well, and Justin, you were a game changer.
You were. It's
total game changer.
Absolute truth. I mean, doubling our coverage from last TPE is. I mean, if that alone is enough to say that how about that cigar as a media organization, for whatever that term means. Absolutely turned our coverage and our media, credibility up to 11, having you there.
And we're up 85% from last year too.
And we're up, that's another thing. I don't even think we talked about that on the show, but So if you look at our audio podcast numbers from 2020 and then our audio podcast numbers from 2021, we had an 85% increase in listenership. That's insane. And on YouTube and Facebook, it averaged out to roughly a 52% increase. So that's all because of you guys who are watching and listening. So we could not be more grateful for that.
Diana, the next show, and I say show loosely, it's not a trade show, but it's an event, the Great Smoke, for the Smoke In crew in Florida. We'll be doing some kind of thing from there. We're not sure exactly what that looks like yet.
Right.
But look for us in the Miami area doing some coverage from the Great Smoke. And then in July will be the PCA.
Yeah.
In Vegas.
Very excited for all those. And I just re-upped the PCA dues today.
Awesome.
So we will be 100% at the PCA trade show in July. And hopefully we can get some Scott Pierce or some of the other guys from PCA on a couple months prior, just checking in on how everything's progressing with the planning of that trade show. So is it?
Yeah. Yep.
Is it time?
I think so.
Okay. It is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. And as always, Numero de los Muertos is brought to us by our friends at Smoke In. All right, Numero de los Muertos, episode 144. Garrett, what do you have for us this week?
This week, our numbers come from the United States of America, where on average, 24 people a year die. Come on.
United States of America, on average, 24 people a year die from this.
Mm-hmm.
Death by not wearing pants. I don't think. Nope.
Pretty sure that's not a category in the in the record books.
Nope. I mean, because yeah. Well, being stupid again. That's very general.
Yeah. Not COVID. I think that's going to be in the hundreds of thousands. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
We really don't. We really don't know. The more I think I know stuff, the more I realize I don't have effing clue about most. All right, 24 people a year in the U.S. As always, if you have guesses or clues, leave them in the comments.
So that's a really interesting question.
Ooh, food related.
Because it is food adjacent.
Food adjacent?
Mm-hmm.
What is how can
You'll
something
see.
be
You'll see.
Beverage?
Mm-mm.
Getting food thrown at you,
Mm-mm.
getting stoned, but tomatoes,
Mm-mm.
Eating yourself to death because you get the munchies from getting high as balls.
Wow.
TPE.
No. Yeah, we didn't eat
At
your
TPE, yeah.
It's both.
Both milk.
Not cutting your no.
Is it
Not food fights.
so it's food adjacent? Is it restaurants?
It can happen at a restaurant.
Is it choking?
Mm-mm. Well, I'll say this. I'm going to let you guys go a little bit more before I...
Okay.
Food food poisoning.
Is it related? Is it related to? Are the deaths connected to the eating of food or the cooking of food?
Neither.
Neither.
Yep. It is not. Has nothing to do with consumption of food.
Does it have something to do with farming?
Mm-mm.
So it doesn't have anything to do with crops or livestock.
Correct.
What the hell?
What the hell, Uncle Roger say?
Emotional damage.
Preparing? Nope.
So how if it's food adjacent, but it's not? Are
Not loading the dishwasher.
grocery stores?
No. Not food allergy related, so it doesn't have anything to do with ingesting.
Does
or
it happen?
eating food.
Does it happen at some type of marketplace or location where food is bought and or sold?
Yes. And in some places, it could happen in your home if you had one of these.
Is it related to the preparation of a particular type of food?
No.
What about garbage disposal?
Ooh, garbage disposal. No. Quentin's last guess actually has a very large clue in it.
I was going to say food delivery, carrying beer into the cooler and false. Keg deliveries?
Mm-mm.
Seafood deliveries?
Mm-mm.
Is it anything to do with allergies?
No.
Falling in the cooler, Quentin says.
Mm.
Is it slipping in the kitchen and hitting your head on the floor?
No. Not cholesterol. Keep going with Q's line of questioning.
Is it spilling something hot on yourself when you're cooking?
Not hitting your head. So what the cause of death will be is asphyxiation. Now couple that with what Q was talking about.
What?
Yes. Yes, Chuck. Getting locked in a cooler.
Locked in a like the big walk-in cooler?
Yes.
Wow.
24 people a year die from accidentally being locked in a cooler.
Chuck, that was a great guess. That was a great guess. My goodness. So
usually happens in a restaurant or a food warehouse.
Yeah.
But I guess, I think in-home coolers, it's like 1.5 a year die.
So Quentin, if you've never worked in a restaurant or a big food warehouse, they have these massive walk-in coolers. Well, yeah, they do have push buttons.
Some of them, but
sometimes
a lot of times they fail.
They can fail, they can malfunction, the mechanism can break, and that can cause somebody to get stuck inside. Or you can have an asshole coworker who thinks it's funny to put an ice pick in the thing. That happened to me. I mean, I was in there for all of 20 minutes. It wasn't bad, but I worked at a pizza place in college, and one of my coworkers put the ice pick through the thing, so I couldn't get out, and I could hear them all out there laughing their asses off.
Yeah.
But I was only in there for 20 minutes, so it wasn't that bad.
So you will actually run out of oxygen before you would freeze to death in most coolers, no matter the temperature, if it's a freezer or if it's refrigeration.
Run out of oxygen. That makes sense.
How long does that take? I wonder.
It probably depends on the size of the
cooler
of the walk-in, yeah, and if it's got some kind of air exchanger, which most of them I'm sure don't.
Right.
Yeah. Why would they?
Nope.
Yeah. Why would you put air exchanger on it?
Oxygen is going to add to
Yeah,
food spoiling. So
that's right.
You
So
want to remove it.
Ooh, 20 minutes. I'm glad I wasn't in that walk-in longer than 20 minutes. I might not be here today. Yeah, that I was, like I said, I worked at a pizza place. It was college. It was a bunch of college kids,
Yep.
dicking around.
We did it in Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, let's trap Matt. It was probably the hazing. It was like my first day or my first couple days.
Exactly.
Hey, can you go in the cooler and give me another bag of mozzarella? Oh, sure. I'll be right back.
Q, I guarantee you, depending on the size of the cooler and how well it's insulated, you can scream and pound all you want. And if there's people out in the front, they will not hear a thing.
Well, I have to imagine because when it happened to me, I could distinctly hear them laughing.
Sure.
And saying, hey, Matt, what's the matter? Just push the button, Matt. Just push the button. I mean, they're like, let me out of there, you sons of bitches, blah, 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 blah. And, yeah, so I know they could hear me.
Where did Matt go?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
At least you're ready for the morgue.
That's true. You are already preserved in some fashion. Oh my God. Yeah, but at a pizza place, I remember distinctly every time I finished a shift at the pizza place, going back to my apartment, and I just that smell, that pizza place smell. It's just,
yep.
Oh, it takes like 2 showers to get rid of that smell and a change of clothes and the worst. But we used to take because we also had like a buffet line, and any of the leftovers, and maybe every once in a while we would make a special pizza and bring it to the bar and get free beer the whole night.
Oh, for
sure. After the pizza place closed. That may or may not have happened. I mean, they closed long ago, so it's not like they care. But how is that different from your normal smell? Well, it's all about garlic ratios.
Yeah, it's less garlicky and oniony.
Yeah, it's all about garlic ratios, really. So that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right. I think we should get Justin with the lightning round.
I think we should.
All right. Justin, you got to get up on that microphone.
Yeah, talk into the mic.
Talk into the mic.
If you could hear the thoughts of one living person for 10 minutes, who would it be and why? You did this one already?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did Arnold.
You did these first 3, the first big 3?
Yep.
Okay. Who was your childhood or teenage celebrity crush? Cindy Crawford. Oh,
not mad at that.
I'm not mad at that answer at all. That's a very good answer. If you could add any person to Mount Rushmore, who would it be?
The Biebs.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh,
sans the bat.
Ozzy. Yeah, with the bat hanging out of his mouth. All right. Let's. What's the worst haircut you've ever had? We don't need pictures. We just need a description.
Well, one time when I was younger, I was pissed off at my parents, right? So we're in the bathroom and I shaved everything off. Except I tried to get a mohawk, but there's patches and everything there. It wasn't too good. So I ended up just shaving it all off. But I went for the mohawk and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a tail?
I never had the rat tail.
Good.
A lot of people in Oklahoma did.
I did.
I know.
I did.
I know.
But I was born in 71, so it was.
I had a mullet
in like 80, 85. It didn't last. It was like maybe 85 or so, but then I got rid of the tail and just went full mullet.
Yep.
Yeah, it was not good.
Did you let your soul glow?
I did let my soul glow. I did. It was spectacular and horrifying at the same time. So now let's do this week's notable smokable. And as always, Notable Smokables are brought to us by our friends at Ace Prime Cigars. Notable cigars, notable passion, notable purpose. So, Justin.
Yeah.
Did you have a notable cigar this week?
I did at the Davidoff of Geneva Lounge in Vegas. Had a Davidoff Millennium.
So we both had that cigar that night. What did you think of it?
It was great. I've only had a couple Davidoffs, so that was a good to test the blends out. It was a good one to enjoy.
Yeah, we did the full. Me and you and Raul went to Davidoff, and we did the full on treat yourself. And yeah, got the Millennium, and then number three, the special R number 3 Tubo. I smoked that one the next morning with coffee. Good stuff. What was your notable this week?
Mine would be the Amendola Especial.
Oh,
we already talked about it, but I mean, that was my most notable cigar of this past week.
Mine, I'm actually going back to right before we went to PCA. And this is, again, going back to the whole 60 ring gauge thing. I smoked the Fuerte y Libre Midnight Bender in the 60 ring gauge, the 6x60.
That was the one I think I gave you.
You and Justin gave me that cigar, and that is, I have to add that to the list of a cigar that I will smoke in the 60 ring gauge. That blend works in a 60.
Yep.
It's a blend that's got this good kind of mix of the sweetness and the spice and the earthiness. So, and it's a powerful blend. That blend is not messing around.
And it's unique.
It is, yeah.
It's hard to find. There's a lot of great cigars out there, a lot of great blends and, little differences. But with that Midnight Bender, it is unique to anything. So check out Fuerte y Libre.
Good stuff. All right. So to give our viewers and listeners an idea of some very cool stuff we have coming up very soon, next Tuesday night on February 7th, I can't believe it's February already.
Wow.
We have none other than Robert Holt from Southern Draw Cigars back for what I believe is going to be his third appearance on How About That Cigar Live. He's got a very cool, interesting, new, unique project that he's working on right now, and we're excited to hear about that. And pardon me for coughing like directly into the microphone. And we have some more very cool stuff scheduled in the coming weeks as well. So for all you viewers and listeners, we are so grateful to you guys for watching How About That Cigar. We are so grateful to you guys for listening to How About That Cigar on the audio podcast. As always, please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure to like and follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/HBT Cigar. Follow us on all social media at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
See you guys later.